For this mandala, you'll need a square piece of paper. I'm using a piece of Bristol paper, which is 15 centimetres square, a pair of compasses, a pencil, a ruler, eraser, and black pen. To start with, I'm setting the radius to 6 centimetres, as that will fit nicely into the square. I've already found the centre of the paper, and I'm drawing a circle which will form the outer edge of the mandala. Now it's hard to see, but I'm measuring 3 centimetres, or use half of your original radius to draw a circle halfway out. Next, I'm going to judge halfway to that circle, and you can measure 1.5 centimetres if you like, but it's fine to do it by eye. Then another circle in between the outer 2 circles, and again you can measure that if you prefer. It will need to be 4.5 centimetres. So you end up with 4 concentric circles, fairly evenly spaced, but it doesn't need to be exact. Now I'm going straight in with a black pen. This one is the Uniball pen, which I think is 0.7. I'm going to use the black pen rather than pencil so that you can see it clearly, but you might like to use pencil first and then go over your pencil lines with a black pen, but that's up to you. You can use any black pen with a fairly thin nib. To start with, I'm making some dots to make it easier to connect up and get your mandala looking even. I suggest you do this until you feel more confident. I make a dot at the top and bottom, then turn the paper and make another 2 dots at top and bottom. Then I go back and put a dot equally spaced between each of the first dots. You should end up with 8 dots around the inner circle. Now on a scrap of paper, I'm showing you the shape I'm going to make, which is a kind of leaf shape. Before I make the shape, I put another dot on the next circle out, an equal distance between the dots on the inner circle. That gives me something to aim for. If you do this, you'll find your shapes are fairly even around the circle, but don't worry if they look a bit uneven. You'll find as you build up the mandala, any unevenness will become less noticeable. So just keep going and take your time. Maybe put on some music as you create. As you'll see, I speed up a lot of this film, so don't fall into the trap of thinking I'm going really fast. I'm actually taking my time with this. Now I'm drawing the inner circle, bit by bit. It's much easier to break it down into chunks rather than try to draw over the whole circle at once. Next, I decide to do an inner halo inside the first leaf shapes. I should warn you that black pens can smudge. I'm using my piece of scrap paper to lean on to hopefully minimise the smudging. I'm drawing round the next circle, again taking it bit by bit and moving the paper around. Next, I decide to do an inner halo inside the circle I've just drawn. You can judge this by eye like I'm doing, but if you prefer, you could use your compasses. Just be careful not to smudge if you've used black pen. I love this effect because it gives a 3-dimensional look to your design, like the flower is sitting on top of a hoop. Now I'm going into the centre to add a flower shape in there. First of all, 4 shapes, then I put more in between. Next, I'm putting dots in again on the next circle out, midway between the points of the flower petals. The shape I'm going to make here is a pointy petal shape that actually looks a bit like a curly bracket. Practice on a piece of scrap paper first until you're confident. Again, I'm speeding up the film here, but I'm taking my time and going slowly, turning the paper as I go. Now I'm drawing around the circle. This time there is further between the markings, so take your time, make sure your hand is comfortable, and turn the paper each time. Again, I'm drawing an inner halo on this circle, just inside it, so it adds to the three-dimensional design. On my piece of scrap paper, I'm showing you the design I'm using next, which is a straightforward triangle. I mark a dot on the outer circle in the middle each time, so I know what I'm aiming for. Next, I decide to do an inner halo on the triangle shape, a really thin one this time. Basically, that's it for the initial design. If you've done this in pencil, it's time to go over in black pen and then erase your pencil markings. You can go in with some colour now if you want, or you can add some more detail. Here I'm showing you a few ideas of how you can add detail to your design by adding more lines, thickening some lines up, or adding dots. Use your imagination and see what you can come up with. Even get out a white pen and add some white dots or lines on top of the black. Once you're done with the black pen, make sure you wait for it to fully dry before erasing any pencil marks, otherwise it might smudge. Don't forget to share your creations on the Facebook page, and I'll post mine too once I've added colour.